Hello, love. You are tuned in to the Woman Behind the Brand podcast with your host, Coach Dorcas. We are here to talk about all things faith, family, and business as I sit down with some amazing women who are not only impacting the lives of others, but impacting the kingdom of God. We are all things hope, so sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode of The Woman Behind the Brand. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to another episode of The Woman Behind the Brand with your girl, Coach Dorcas. This is episode 2 of season 2. Oh, if you didn't get a chance to tune in last week with Dina Bruton, lead beauty architect, make sure you go back and watch the replay. But today, I am here with an amazing woman who just so happens to be one of my beautiful sorors. But before we get into the conversation, let me introduce myself to those of you who haven't tuned in yet. And I don't know what you're waiting on because season 1 is out there and you can binge it. And this is just the second episode. So you're at the beginning of season 2. But I am Coach Dorcas. I am a certified trauma transformation coach, helping women unmask the pain of their trauma by reclaiming their voice and repurposing their pain so that they can show up authentically in life, in business, in relationships, in every aspect of their being. But I'm also the founder and creator of the Woman Behind the Brand podcast, where I am here to provide a platform for women to just share their stories, for women to talk about their brands, their faith, all things business, because we understand that we are our testimonies and we are here to spread hope. Everything about me is hope. My business, the podcast, everything is all about hope. So I'm here to just provide a platform for women who are doing big things to impact the lives of others. And like I said, impact the kingdom of God. So today I get the honor of sitting down with my beautiful soror. Oh, my Zeta Soror, for those of you who don't know, I am a member of the fabulous Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, but I'm here to sit down with my soror. She's also the beauty, the brains, the intelligence, all things Desiree Danielle. And if you didn't get a chance to get your issue of the Woman of Hope magazine, what are you waiting on? She also shot the cover. She also did my makeup. The girl is a beast at what she does. And she's also the sponsor of season 2 of the Woman Behind the Brand podcast. So I'm just super excited to even be collaborating, even to be able to just work with this dope behind chick on a frequent basis. It is so amazing. But girl, tell the people who you are.
Well, first off, I am so grateful and honored to be a part of this season and this episode. So, guys, what's up? I am Desiree Danielle Greenwood of Desiree Danielle LLC. I'm a creative. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a daughter of the king. I just all things creativity, right? So I am a licensed cosmetologist as well as a branding and event photographer. I create digital media for busy entrepreneurs that help them connect with their audiences and grow their brands.
Y'all, she said licensed cosmetologist. Can I say she's a master cosmetologist? But we're gonna get into that a little bit later. But thank you for accepting the invite. Thank you for just chatting with me today. And this, I don't do interviews. We're having girl talk. We're sitting down, and this podcast is all about getting to know the essence of the woman behind the brand. And how else can you do that by just sitting down having a conversation and allowing just God to just show up and just lead the conversation. And so Desiree Danielle, you said you are a master cosmetologist. Um, um, how did that come about? As it relates to growing up, and was that something you always loved to do? Where did that passion come in?
So I grew up with my mom. And so my mom is a creative as well. She's always been into like crafting and she sews. And so growing up, I used to make little Barbie doll clothes with my hands and little scraps of fabric and stuff like that. And the funny thing, how I got into doing my hair was one summer she sent me off. she braided my hair. She did little box braids in my hair and sent me off to my family reunion that summer. And literally the braids, they was falling out. They was literally like falling out like everywhere, right? So what really got me, we was in the elevator. I was with my grandparents, and this guy, it was a white guy. He said he picked one, I guess one had fell out, and we got out the elevator, and he tapped my grandmother on the shoulder, and he said, "Excuse me, ma'am, I think this belongs to your daughter." And I was like, "Oh my gosh," I was so embarrassed. But I was so embarrassed, but luckily my aunt, she, as they were slipping out in the pool and stuff, she started putting them back in. And I was like, "Oh, no, we ain't doing this." So I literally from there just started plaiting, braiding my own hair, and it just kind of evolved. I was playing with Barbie dolls, have them. I actually still got some of my Barbie dolls that don't have hair now because I cut them off, but started doing my own hair. It evolved from my hair to I have a couple of sisters on my dad's side, so I started doing their hair, started doing my cousin's hair, and then people just started letting me experiment on them. So in high school and junior high, that was my little side hustle. So I was doing braiding hair, and I would go to the salon with my grandmother to get our hair done. And so I would literally sit there and watch. There was a couple of other younger stylists that were doing like the weaves and stuff. So I would watch them, and I'd be like, "Ooh, what's she doing? What's she doing?" And so I'm taking it all in, and then I would literally go home and try some things. Okay. And I ended up getting a part-time job. So I graduated high school and did 2 years at a community college, but I ended up getting a job at a beauty supply store because I would used to go in there literally and walk around for hours. It's like my mind was just like, "Ooh, what can I do with this? What can I do with this?" And as I started to understand a little bit more of it, honestly, I doing hair was not really a thing that I thought I would do. Like I started my college career out as a pre-nursing major because I thought I was gonna be somebody nurse, honey. And so, but clearly the Lord had other plans. But that's always been, something that I did. And then moved up here to Birmingham to go to UAB and kind of switch my major around. And at some point I had a conversation with my godfather, and he's always been pushing me, like really affirming like the creative part in me, like because just growing up, you don't really, depending on your environment, like sometimes nurturing that creative side, it's not always a route that most people would tell you to take. It's like, "Oh, go, if you go into the medical field, it's job security, it's money, it's X, Y, and Z." So that's the route that I originally went because I was like, "Oh, I need a job, I need to make some money, X, Y, and Z." But he really encouraged the creative pieces, and he still do to this day. He's always calling me, asking me what I'm doing, telling me to stay focused and stuff like that. But it was a conversation with him that I decided to go to cosmetology school in 2012 and finished and got my license in 2014. And so it's just been kind of my skills has just evolved over time, and it's just interesting now that the Lord is just, he's so good at what he does, but we have to release control, and so he's kind of shifting and shaking some things up, which is a little nerve-wracking but exciting all at the same time.
Yeah, our daddy, when I say our daddy, I mean all of our daddies, God.
Father God.
He has a way of just throwing a monkey wrench in things, and you be like, "Whoa, hold on now. Like, what you doing? Slow down, slow, stop,
Taking it
pause,
too fast. You're taking it too fast.
yield, flag on the play. Look, flag on the play. Can we review this thing in the book?
Oh my
Okay."
God.
Like, come on. It's so, it's amazing how, and it happened. And I can only speak for, us African American women, but I a lot of people don't know this, but I do hair. That's how I made money in college. And I was doing hair in my dorm room. Never went to cosmetology school because it was never like a passion of mine. It was just one of my talents.
Yeah.
Self-taught. I don't know how I started, to be honest with you. Really don't know how, but I was about 15 or 16, and I had a cousin, and she was like, she would always let me practice on her. She's like, "You have to learn some way." And she didn't mind because she never combed. She was older than me, but her head always looked a mess. But I love her to life, but she would let me practice on her, and she would wear it. I'm like, "Girl, you ain't gotta wear that because it looked a hot mess. It looked a ham." but she did it. And
Yeah.
because of her willingness to be that guinea pig, I was able to evolve my craft. And I literally, and it's amazing how God was like, no, you're an entrepreneur. I didn't know I was an entrepreneur back then, but I
Right.
was, because here I am in my college dorm room, and I'm braiding hair, doing the curls with the
In and out.
straws, those
Mm-hmm. That in and
straws,
out.
braids. I even involved to the weaves, the sew-ins, and even after college, that was how, I supplemented my income. And it just goes to show you how amazing God is, because I was making $10 an hour. My rent was $587 a month. So you do the math. That not including the car payment, car insurance, and other utilities. I was making $10 an hour, 40 hours a week. The math wasn't mathing,
The
but
math was not
it
mathing.
was not mathing.
You gave you the
And
ability,
so
if you will.
it's like God gave me that talent,
Yeah.
and I was able to do hair and supplement what I wasn't making from my full-time job. But it's just amazing how so many women that I've talked to who are cosmetologists, or that is one of their talents, they're self-taught.
Yeah.
And like I said, I didn't go to cosmetology school because that wasn't my jam. I just love doing it as a side hustle, and still being able to um dive into the art of it. And because
Yes.
it's the art, it's the creative side of it, and seeing the faces of the people when they get their hair done, because that fresh hairdo,
Man,
oh,
listen, a whole new person. And
it's a whole new person.
the part that I fell in love with, especially as I got on my own, it wasn't necessarily the craft itself. Like I learned a lot of things, and kind of adapted some of the ways to fit me and how I chose to do hair. But for me, it was like the transformation of the
Mhm.
person. And very early on, I realized that when I got on my own in 2015, I started in a suite, which I'm glad of, because I got to learn how to create an environment. And that, for me, that's what it really was creating an environment for somebody, for a lady, a guy, whatever, whoever it was, to just come in that moment and just be. They may come in heavy, they may come in with a lot on their
Mhm.
mind, but in that moment, that's just a time where they could just sit there. Some people talk, some people don't, and it's fine. But to see the transformation of them leaving was the part that I absolutely
Yes.
fell in love with. And so I am grateful, because right before COVID, I was like, okay, Lord, I'm enjoying. I was making, you can make some good money in cosmetology. I was making some decent money, you know what I'm saying? But I just felt like there was just a little bit more. I'm
Mm.
like, it can't just be about doing the hair, you know what I'm saying? And so then he just started to, the last couple of years, just start to show me more of who I am and what he's calling me to do in the earth. And it is a little bit more than just doing the hair. The hair or the camera is just a tool for the thing that it is that he's calling me to. So that was a great revelation for me, because it was kind of like, you get on this hamster race of just going through emotions and things, but
Oh
when you
yeah.
understand the weight of what it is and why you're doing what you're doing, it kind of purpose. It lends to what the purpose of what you're doing.
And that's the thing about it. You said create an experience, and I whatever we do is supposed to be our ministry. And when if we know about ministry, the person does not is supposed to leave differently
Mhm.
from when they first came or the first interacted with you. And so your business is supposed to be a ministry. Being a master cosmetologist, that is a ministry. And so whether they would talk or not, you created the environment that you created was a part of your ministry.
Yes.
And they leave there, even though they got a new style, they got a good wash and all of their things. It's the total experience. It is the environment. It is you know the renewed outlook of themselves, because well, we know when you I can talk about me and my locks. When you get that fresh retwist, I promise you feel like you
Baby.
on top, baby. It's like they
Yes.
can't tell you nothing. And so going into an atmosphere and creating the full experience, that is what ministry is all about. And
Yes.
so even when I remember when you were in cosmetology school, and I remember, I don't know if you remember this, but you colored my sister's hair.
Yes, she came up to the school.
Yes, she came to the school. She was visiting me. She came to the school, and she, even in that space, like you really took care of her, even though you were in school. So, um, I God just brought that back to my remembrance. But you've been all about creating, that experience and making sure that comfortable.
Yeah.
Comfortable, because before I got locked, your hands have been in my head. And going keeping on that note of the experience, like I said earlier, you shot the cover of the very first issue of The Woman Behind the Brand. Lord God, got the Woman of Hope magazine. See, he got me. He have. Thank you, Holy Spirit. I thank you, God, because it's out. You God has given you so many different mantles and so many different streams of income. It's like you have to, you forget which one. But it's the Women of Hope magazine, and that magazine is just, is I say it's an extension of my heart. It's an extension of me, Women of Hope, because we're all women of hope. The woman behind the brand, she's a woman of hope. But it was the experience. That was my very first studio photo shoot,
Oh, yay.
and I had been wanting Desiree to shoot me for a while, and the money just was never there. But um, I knew I wanted a certain look for this cover, and God just said, just reach out to you, and I did, and I'm so thankful for my obedience. But I never been so comfortable in
Mm,
front of a camera.
wow.
It was the experience, and the makeup and everything, and I was those of you who watched the episode last week with Dina Bruton, the beauty architect, she even mentioned, she said, I don't even know who the girl is. Whoever did your makeup, she did the doggone thing. But I stepped outside of my comfort zone, even in a sense with the makeup, because I allowed you to be you. You knew I gave you my vision, you knew my style, but I allowed you to be you. And it was the experience. I never once felt uncomfortable.
Wow.
I never, like I said, it was just, I was like, I'm here for you. I'm your vessel. I was like, I'm just the vessel. You do you.
Yeah.
And it's all about allowing your ministry to be the full experience. It's
Yeah.
just like going to church and you missing praise and worship.
Yeah. Like, I am grateful. You know, sometimes when you just I'll say the Lord has been giving me language. As I'm growing and walking and things, He's giving me language, and in the experience, creating an environment. Those are the words that He's been kind of giving me lately, and it just confirms like why I love photography. Like I took my very first, like I said, it's not even about doing the hair, about the camera, right? It's about it's bigger than that. And so I
Yes.
took my first photography class. I've always been artistic too. So on top of doing hair, like art was like my thing. Like I used to paint, I used to draw. And so when I went to UAB as a pre-nursing major, I still art studio was my minor. So I did a lot of painting classes, but I also took my very first photography class. And it wasn't digital photography, it was 35 millimeter darkroom um, film photography. So I grew to learn and to appreciate the art behind it. But as I started to shoot more, I just started to really appreciate being able to capture a moment. You know what I'm saying? And so for
Mm.
what I do now, it's kind of the same thing. Like women come in, whether they have their makeup done somewhere else or whether I get to do their makeup, I really try to create the environment because not everybody's like even me, like even right now as I'm talking in front of the camera, I'm comfortable on the other side, but being on this side, sometimes the nerves get a little jittery, you know what I'm saying? So just trying to create that environment I want to be able to capture them in their authentic self, especially if it's branding, you know what I'm saying? It's one thing. I don't never want anybody to come in the studio and I capture something that's not them. And then it misrepresents them and their brand online and to their customers. So I really try to create a safe space so that people can just be who they are. And the beauty of what I do is I get to capture that, right? So even as we go through life, that was a moment, yes. And maybe the next day something happens and it takes you down emotionally, right? But now you have this moment, this image, this lasting file that you can at least look back on and to remember who you are and who you were in that moment. That gives you a little bit of hope to kind of keep going towards your future.
That's he said, come to give you hope in a what? A future.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about it is, the woman behind the brand. And I'm so glad that my everything I do is rooted in hope.
Mm-hmm.
Because even branding is that future. It's allowing people to see the hope in you so
Yeah.
that they so that they can be drawn to you. But yes, my I'm so glad that you listen. I'm so glad that you did your homework. And even y'all, I'm still discovering my style, I would say. Since March 2020, I've been in the house. So I don't know what my style is. And it's so funny that my husband actually called Desiree.
I said, "Oh, this stylist."
He called her, and like he was my stylist. And even if looking at my pictures, you were like, well, I mean, what I have on is simple,
Mhm.
but it's me.
And so you, yeah.
And I was overthinking it because I was like, well, do I wear this? And my husband, I mean, we've been married over 12 years and he knows me, but it's the thing about it is she listens.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
I look at my pictures and I'm like, that's so me. Cause I'm a simple chick.
Yeah.
I'm your home girl. I'm the
Yeah.
girl. You may catch me in some J's one day, but I can give you a wedge or a heel.
Heel on. Yes, yes, yes.
95% of the time, you're gonna catch me in some tennis shoes. I'm just gonna be a buck with you. But when I am dressed up, it's not I'm not over the top.
Yeah.
And you capture all of that. You capture the essence of my brand, which is me. I am my brand. And
Absolutely.
as a branding photographer, and all of those things, you have to understand that the logo is not the brand, the colors is not the brand, the person
Person.
is the brand.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have that's probably the first question that I get asked all the time is what to wear, right? And yes, there are probably like fashion rules. I have my own style too. Like I'm a little bit of a tomboy, so kind of like you, I'm probably gonna be in some chucks, some flip flops. I like cardigans and I like blazers, t-shirts. Pretty simple, but I can dress up if I want to. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
if I want to.
If I want to, or the occasion calls for
Goes
that, I
for
can do that.
it.
That's the number one question I get is what to wear. And there are probably some fashion rules and things, yet when it comes to like fit and things of that nature. And there's a few like, horizontal this and vertical this and things, that you kind of want to stick away from. But I always tell them to just be you. You know what I'm saying? Literally, like this is a branding shoot, which you are your brand. So you never want to miss. One thing is the hard to do is keep up a lie. Okay, so just be you authentically 100%, and the people that you are drawn to, that are called to you, are going to come to you. Don't be trying to be something because that's what you see in the magazines, and you can use them for inspiration, but at the end of the day, you being you is what's going to draw the people to you that's called to you. And that's the other part I love about this, is that I understand that we're all called to somebody. We're all
Yeah.
called to a group of people, right? And so it's important that we show up authentically ourselves online so that they can find us. So that's the other part. That's really why I love doing branding and like, shooting like little videos and things like that for my clients, because the people need them. And this is me talking to me too. Like I hid. I'm coming out of it a little bit, but I have hid
Yeah.
for so long because it's like I don't know what to say, or ain't nobody gonna listen to me, X, Y, and Z. But it's like, no, your voice is powerful. Like somebody waiting on you, but you hold them up because you stuck in your own stuff, you
Look,
know. And so
don't go
that's why
there.
I love listen. So that's why I love working with my clients, because it's just beautiful just to kind of see that transformation. Like they come in, like a little timid, a little shy, but by the end they be like, I can conquer the world.
And that's the thing, I'm not a I used to then wear pretty much any makeup. I started, with my lipstick and my mascara, and typically with, I was the point you put some makeup on my face for anything. By the time I get home, it's coming complete. Look, I'm
Mhm.
washing my face so quick because that wasn't me. But I'm doing, I'm learning. I'm getting my learnings on because having to be more present, and it's the makeup just enhances some things. But I would
Yes.
say, literally after that photo shoot, and we started that morning, I I kept it on till it was literally the last second. It was literally because my husband, all right now, and but it was simple elegance. It
Yeah.
wasn't a whole bunch of fuss. And even though I gave you the inspiration for the cover, you made it your own. And all of those things. And it's just, even, at the end of, I'm saying this because, like I said, it was an entire experience for me. And I literally left there on 10 because at the end of the photo shoot, our last, couple frames or whatever, you said, what is a song that you just jam out to? And as soon as you dropped it, I just went into it, and you capturing all of me. I didn't have to worry about posing a certain way. I just rocked out like I was in my car,
Yeah.
because literally I was coming back from Raleigh, North Carolina in July, and I was sleepy, and I literally played that song about 12 times, and I had the same energy each time I sung it. And so, because it reminds me of my relationship with my husband, I think about that song that I'm singing to him, and he's
Yes.
singing to me. But I left there like on 10.
I love it.
And I wanted everybody, look, yep, you're gonna see this, you're gonna see all this beat today, baby. You're gonna see, oh, your makeup. Yes, I just left a photo shoot. You see it?
Period poop.
And but being able, like I said, have that total experience, and um encouraging your clients, just be you. And
Yeah.
that's one thing I do as a, as a trauma coach. I know what it feels like to try to keep up with that lie.
Yeah.
I wore 50 million masks for a long, long time, up until about 3.5 years ago.
Yeah.
And so, as a coach, that's one thing I want my when you leave, when you're no longer working with me, when we've ended our last session or whatever, if you were one on one, you're going to be able to show up authentically as you, because you no longer wear a mask.
Yeah.
And it's all about unmasking the pain of your trauma.
Yeah.
You don't have to hide behind it, and that's why, my brand is my testimony, because I was the chick that I didn't have any hope. I was the
Yeah.
chick that was literally about to check out. With, okay, everybody was better off without me, because I didn't have hope, so therefore I didn't see a future.
Yeah.
And because I wasn't showing up authentically as me. How can you see a future when you're living a lie?
Right.
How can you see a future when you're hiding everything that you've gone through, when you're not being real with you?
Right.
How can you see a future? Because you can only see a future when you are authentically you. When you say, okay, this is what I've done, this is what I've gone through, this is me. Either you can take it and leave, take it or
Believe.
leave it. I ain't,
Yeah.
I ain't going. When somebody say ain't, it's serious.
You know it's real.
I ain't got time to hide.
Yes.
I ain't got time. So when you're not telling them, okay, well, you need to, wear this or wear that. Who are you? What represents your brand?
Yes.
Because I can look back on those pictures and say, oh, that's me. I see me.
See
I
me. Yeah.
recognize me. And if when you look at yourself in the mirror and when you look at what you're building, if you don't recognize you,
What you
then you
doing?
what you doing?
Yeah.
And that's one of the first things I do with my clients, baby. It's time for you to come face to face with you. Because if you don't know who you are, how do you know where you're going? How do you know who you're called to when you don't know who you are, or if you're in alignment with a lie?
Yeah. That's
You're
good.
wearing masks, you're showing up fake. Because like you said, that is the hardest thing for you to do. It is easier to show up as you than to show up pretending, because
Yes.
one day you're gonna get tired. You are going to get tired of pretending, and then what happens? You become known as an imposter.
Imposter. Yep. You stop showing up.
You stop showing up, because guess what? You don't want everyone to know that you've been living a lie, a whole lie.
Oh,
And so encouraging all of your clients, everyone that you work with, no, who are you?
yeah. That's good.
What would you wear? And if it was me, I would wear either Air Max 90s or ones. The rest of give them. I don't need them in every color. And every photo shoot that I do, guess what? You're gonna catch. You're gonna get some with the girl in the heels, and you also gonna get some with the girl who may have on a skirt and some J's. But I'm gonna
Yeah.
have some shoes. Yes, I can dress. Yes, pencil skirt and some J's. Yes, check out the photo shoot I did before I worked with Desiree. But that's me.
Yeah. It's
That's
beautiful.
me. And having and working with a branding photographer or whoever you're working with, if they don't encourage you to be you, then you don't need to work with them.
Yeah.
That's the part. Not who you want to be. Who are you?
Who are you?
Who are you? And yes, our we evolve over time, but the great thing about it is, if you grow, then they will see the growth in everything you do.
Yes.
It won't be, oh, who is that? It won't be that to the point where they don't recognize it. They will recognize the growth.
The growth. Yeah. They'd be like, something,
Hold on.
something different.
Different.
Yeah.
I can't quite put my finger on it. They will see the growth. They will see the evolution of you.
Mhm. Yeah.
It will still be you, but it will be an evolved you.
Yeah. That's so good.
And I'm pretty sure that as God continues to stretch me and you, there's going to be evolution,
It is.
but we're still going to be who we are.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
that's the most important part of it. Who are you?
That's what I wrote down. That's what I keep ringing in my ears. Who are you? And I think for many of us, we don't know. We don't know. Like even as an entrepreneur, like I can say I started out, doing what I was doing, but trying to mimic mimic other people, mimic other stylists that I was, that was
That
popular that I
part.
was seeing. You know what I'm saying? And then I just had to be like, and honestly, at the end of the day, I do pretty good hair and pretty good makeup, but
Good.
they're okay.
You don't have to toot your own horn. I will toot it for you.
Yes,
Toot
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
toot.
Yes, ma'am. But the reality is though, we're in Birmingham. You know how many stylists there are in Birmingham? But at the end of the day, it's why would somebody choose you, whatever you do? Why would they choose you over the next person? And it's because it's you. You know what I'm saying? It's because they enjoy your personality. They enjoy your environment, whatever it is that you create for them. It's because it's you. It's not because you're mimicking somebody else. So we just have to, it took me a minute just to be like, okay, I'm not probably not gonna dress up, every day and going there. I'm probably gonna, like I said, go in there comfortable with black or whatever it looks like. But at the end of the day, they know they're gonna get the same experience. And being consistent, you know what I'm saying? Being consistent is really what I had to learn for myself. It's like this I knew what I wanted, and then I just had to allow myself to be who it is that I am and stop trying to mimic and copy everybody else. Because
I can say ouch on that one as well.
yeah.
I can say I can I can Bishop said can't say amen, say ouch. I can say ouch on that one as well because even in showing up as me, you know, as an entrepreneur, you see so many different people on the interwebs,
Yeah.
on the interwebs and all those things. And okay, what are they doing? That why what are they doing to get this and what are they doing to get that? And God has really been dealing with me with that because I have, you know, I haven't been as present on Instagram because it's like I'm in my head
Mhm.
wanting to know, well, how do I need to sound or whatever to for the person who's called to me to hear me. You know, when you look up like that, he
Oh,
started
he's
talking
talking
to
to
you.
you. He's talking to you.
And it's like I'm talking to you right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking to you right now.
Mm-hmm.
And whoever's called to me, they need me to talk to them like I'm talking to you right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I did
Absolutely.
I did this brand voice thing and it was like a little assessment and it said I'm the girl, I'm your home girl. Because every last one of my clients and every last person that I interact with, no, we cool.
Yes.
You no, I'm gonna check you like you're my homegirl, but I'm also gonna be I'm gonna be in the trenches with you like you're my homegirl because you are.
Absolutely. I
And
love it.
so there's someone called to who we are. But if we don't know who we are, or if we're pretending to be somebody we're not, then how can they find us?
Yeah. I just, as you said that, I just thought about, well, what popped up was like, um, so at the end of the day, what's helping me to show up is I understand that it's bigger than me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as you were saying that, it's like how misrepresenting. It's almost kind of like setting somebody up. Like you know how you somebody like online dating, right? You go online and then what they call it, catfishing.
Oh yeah, catfishing.
Catfishing, like you know, like, oh, okay, they seem like a nice person. I love their message, X, Y, and Z. But then as they start to follow you and follow your journey, they start to realize that you are not who you first represented yourself to be. And what always keeps me humble is I fear the Lord, and I just refuse to mishandle His people, to mishandle His people. So that keeps me in check. I'll be like, look, Lord, I ain't in no way, I ain't trying to uh listen. I don't want them problems. So if I need to sit down, I'll sit down. I get and hey, let me do some work before I get up out of
I
there. But
said, look,
I just cannot mishandle His people like that.
my grandma said, sit down somewhere. But you know what? That's one thing that I say. I tell my, you know, anyone who considers working, who they want to work with me, I tell them two things. I tell more than two things, but I say I'm not gonna mishandle you and I'm not gonna drop you because as it relates to trauma,
Yeah.
you've been mishandled and you've been dropped,
Mm-hmm.
and because of that, you don't trust.
Facts.
That's thing, and I say mishandle his people. It ain't gonna be on my hands. What it's not gonna be is on my hands
Listen. Listen.
because I'm called to help, not to harm. When God put placed this mantle on my life, he placed me here to help his daughters
Yeah.
heal,
Yeah.
not to hurt them even more.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not going to show up and I will tell you, your girl ain't I'm not okay. I would tell you I'm not okay. And guess what? I would do an Instagram reel and say I haven't been okay.
Mm, that's so
Because even though I've done the work and God has allowed me to go on this journey of intense. I see you here, like your boy put your girl in on some. I don't know. He put me in some cryo tank or something, and took me down a healing process these last 3 years. And I'm like, Jesus, you accelerated this thing, but healing is a continuous journey.
is.
So if I'm not okay, I'm gonna be okay with not being okay because I'm telling my the people who are called to me it's okay not to be okay.
Yeah.
So if I'm telling you it's not okay to be okay, guess what I'm gonna tell you? I'm not okay. I've had some challenges the last couple of weeks, or your girl been struggling. So look, but it still means showing up authentically as me
Yeah.
and being okay with being me and knowing who I am and knowing that even though I have done the work and I'm called to help other people, God is still not calling me to be perfect.
Yes. That's
And we
fact.
get into that space where okay, I'm this. He called. I gotta help these people. I can't show that I'm not okay. Lies. Who told you that?
Who told you that?
Who? Please tell me so I can punch him in the throat. I know, right? Real quick, but it's just being okay, and with your brand is being okay with being who God called you to be.
Called you to be. And how he's called you to do it because he's so that's what I love about him. He's such a creator, right? And so in being a creator, that means you do things differently. Like he's never gonna do anything the same, right? So what he's giving you to do, yeah, it may be something similar to Sally Sue over here, but guess what? He's definitely gonna give it to y'all differently because y'all are completely different people. And you gotta be okay with that. I mean, I
And
gotta be okay with that.
yes, at the summit, the woman behind the brand summit, there was Madonna, prima donna. She I met her on Clubhouse and she's also a trauma coach. And I invited her to be one of the guest panelists at the summit. And she was like, she asked me, she said, is that a conflict of interest? I was like, what you mean? What you talking about, Willis? She was like, I'm a trauma coach, you're a trauma coach. Honey, somebody's called to you and somebody's called to me. If anything, we're gonna collaborate and we're gonna tag team this trauma.
Absolutely.
Because her, like you said, everyone got there's somebody called to each and every one of us. And just because look at it, there's Burger King, McDonald's, Wendy's, you got Milo's, you got all these different burger chains, you got Five Guys, you got Steak and Shake, you got Whataburger, all these different burger chains. But guess what? They're all still in business, boo.
Yeah, it's all still in business.
I know a whole bunch of trauma coaches, but who's called to them is not called to me.
Absolutely.
Who's called to me may not be called to them.
Absolutely.
But as long as we show up authentically as who we are and as who God called us to be, they won't miss it.
At all. And you won't miss it either.
And we won't miss it. And so the woman behind the brand that's it. It's the woman.
Yeah.
It is Desiree Danielle. Because she is her brand. Who is she? She knows who she is.
Yes.
She
And
knows
still
who she's
learning and evolving.
and still learning and evolving. See, that's the thing. It's like God will. I see it, but it's like God continues to polish us.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's that fine china, or it's
Mm-hmm.
that silverware.
Yep.
It's like God continues to like polish us. He continues to mold us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, but we have to stay focused on it doesn't change who we are.
Right.
It's just enhances we are called to be.
Absolutely.
Because guess
Absolutely.
what? No matter if you are a photographer, a hairstylist, a coach, whoever you are, you're still that person. But God is going to continue to condition and enhance who we are called to be.
Yep.
I'm called to be a international trauma coach. I'm called to be the editor-in-chief of Women of Hope magazine. I'm called to be the creator of the Woman Behind the Brand podcast. She's called to be the Desiree Danielle, the master cosmetologist. And we're gonna get to that part afterwards, after this. She's called to be a world-renowned brand photographer. She's called to teach other people how to be the best brand photographer, because you got to understand your client in order to capture who they are, and they are their brands.
So true. And just know, like, the heart and the core of who you are is who you are. But when God is taking us and elevating us to new levels, like, you at this level, you're not going to be able to you're not going to have the capacity at this level, right? So he's constantly molding and shaping, breaking some things off and expanding to let that new room in, you know what I'm saying? And so we just have to be cool with that. Just be cool with who we are. Be like, all right, Lord, cool, all right. All right. And then just keep going.
And that's what we doing. That's what we doing.
Let's go.
But it all goes back to surrendering.
So, yeah, that word.
And I bring that up because God is shifting you from a place of comfortable to a place of, I'm gonna let you go. I'm passing that ball to you.
Yeah. So he's shifting me from a place of comfortable. For me, comfort is what I've always been doing, right? I've always used my hands. I've always been doing hair. I knew I can go in there if I needed to pay whatever bill it was. Let me go and open up some days, some books or whatever. And what I realized, especially, that's one thing I am grateful for COVID for, is it forced me to, one, sit down, but then two, to really understand, wrap my mind around who my source really is. You know what I'm saying? Because yes, in my own strength, I was doing all that I could do in my own strength, but didn't nobody think the whole world was gonna get shut down. And granted, I'm pretty decent with my finances and stuff, but I to be honest, I wasn't prepared for no world shutdown to be able to manage 2 sets of bills. That's not cheap by the month, by the way. But even from then to now, I've never missed a beat. And so what he has, as I'm shifting, I let I put my clients on notice that December 29th was my last day accepting regular salon clients. And that's been a journey for me, because that's who I was equating who I was. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm a cosmetologist. I do hair. I do this. Most of the time when people introduce me, it's the hairstylist, the cosmetologist, and so in the season, he's just showing me that, yes, that's one of the giftings that I called you to do, but you're more than that. And so Holy Spirit told me that it has to be, for me, now everybody's journey is different, but for me, it has to be a separation of this thing that I have, one made of God, because I was relying on this thing in myself to provide my needs. You know what I'm saying? And so so we talking about, as I'm talking about showing up authentically who you are, it's not me like, oh, I've reached the peak. No, like, I'm still learning, and I'm still growing, and I'm becoming okay with that, and learning really who God has really called me to be. And the transparent part is, the surrender part is tough. Especially, like, I can say I've trusted God in a lot of areas in my life, but when it came to my finances and my business just because of my background. You know what I'm saying? Like I literally, yes, I was making this money, but it was out of fear of lack. You know what I'm saying? It was like, let me make sure I'm good so I don't have to depend on nobody. You know, I don't have to call my mama. I don't have to call my daddy. You know, people disappoint you, X, Y, and Z, but I know I can make sure I'm good. And so, you know, in this season of surrender, you know, he's really just been loving on me. Like I'm like I've it's yep. Mm-hmm. Um I really had to allow him to love on me and really sit down and receive it. Like literally down sit down and slow down and really allow my father to love on me so that I could understand that I'm more than just that. You know what I'm saying? And so this has been definitely a it's been beautiful, but it's been not the easiest. But I'm grateful and I'm hopeful because um there's a future in it. And so I'm just excited to kind of see where the Lord where we're going. So yeah. Yeah.
That's the thing. You know, he said you cannot serve two masters.
Yeah.
And when you I get it. I get it because I made it I was gonna make it happen.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't care if I had to rob Peter to pay Paul, then borrow from John to pay Peter back, then rob Peter again to pay Aaron. But and it was because of my background.
Yeah.
So God was like, God literally put COVID. COVID was so much deeper than this coronavirus. It was so like that
Them
thing
who have ears, let them hear. You hear
here.
me?
That was when I tell you that plan of God was so rich. Um, job I'd been on for 10 years. I told him, I said, y'all gonna have to push me out this place on a wheelchair because I'm retiring from here. I was comfortable.
Comfortable.
September 29th, 2020, they literally said, we're phasing out your position. Now, it had become a thorn in my side anyway, because it was every day I was on the verge of just cussing some people out. Yes, yes. The head people cuss.
What is
And
the one to make your comfortable place uncomfortable?
literally, I'm still trying to grow my edges back from way back when, because they like literally my hair was falling out.
Mm-hmm.
And when they told me that, it was like, we're facing out your position, you can either, they offered me to stay. They said you can move to this team, and or you can take the severance package. I was like, I called my husband. I had already made my decision. I was just being a wife. And if I had taken the other position, it was me showing God I trusted them more than I trusted him.
Yeah.
So that was then. So my 10-year anniversary would be October 25th, 2020. They let me go September officially September 30th, 2020.
Wow.
Fast forward June 2021, out of fear, I took a job because unemployment had ended. And for 6 months, I was in hell. I say I took a pay cut to be able to work from home with the kids. And it was more than 50% pay cut what I was making from the previous job.
Mm-hmm.
December 2021, I got mad. I said, God, why would you bless me with a job and I be in hell the whole time? He said, I didn't give you that job. You took it out of fear. I said, so what we doing? He said, what you doing? You got to get yourself up out of this. What?
Okay then.
Oh, you so rude.
Ooh,
So
he loving. Oh, he don't play.
I, that same day, I quit. Did I
Wow.
know how the bills were going to be paid? No, no, I didn't. And that was almost a year ago.
Yeah.
Have I
Mhm.
gone back to work? No, I recently started subbing on the days that that no clients, but it's just, I asked God about that one.
And that's the thing too. Like, if I had a conversation with a friend, and we have entrepreneur conversations from time to time, and it's something about like, if we're in this entrepreneur space, we feel like, if we get a job or X, Y, and Z, that we're like not trusting him, or we're failing in X, Y, and Z. But the truth of the matter is, I'm really learning, honestly, to be led by Holy Spirit, right? So if Holy Spirit open up a door and lead me to something, it's obviously for a reason. So whether it's for me to gain some inside knowledge, some
Hmm.
wisdom, some skills, or it's, hey, I'm opening this door for some extra revenue, right? I feel like as long as he's leading you there and he's put his stamp of approval on it, then that's what it is. But it's another thing for when we choose to make decisions out of fear. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna take this job because I got these bills coming up. You know what I'm saying?
And
And
that's what it is.
mhm,
And that's what it is. And even with me, I ain't subbing it. Don't give me middle school. Don't give me high school. I got elementary all day long. I'll need third below. But I don't have a client on the schedule for coaching, or I'm not, doing an interview. Then why not?
yeah,
Why not? But it's also teaching me balance.
yeah,
It's also teaching me how to do everything else. But at the end of the day, God said He will supply all of our needs.
all of it according to his riches, because he got the money, honey.
According, because and that's the thing. My daddy pocket's deep. They don't
Listen,
have a bottom, and I have to. I used to say, I wish I had a rich daddy. And one day he checked me so hard, y'all. He hit me in my throat so hard. He said, "Your daddy is rich,"
he is rich.
and I stopped saying it because me saying I wish I had a rich daddy was indicating that I don't have a rich daddy. I
Right.
was indicating that the one that's my earthly father was the one that will supply all of my needs. No, it's him.
Yeah.
And God knows that we are human,
Hmm.
but like you say, we can't get comfortable. We were not meant to get comfortable
Yeah.
here because this
Yeah.
is not our home.
Um, and this stuff that we be putting, so much emphasis on, these material things can be gone in a minute. You see how many people, like, you could tell during COVID who really relied on God and who really relied on man to be their source. It was very, very evident.
Oh, COVID was a whole, and this is on a we're going. I would say one of the purposes of COVID was to test the heart of man, and a whole lot of people failed.
Mm,
The heart of man was tested in so many ways.
it was. It
It was
was.
tested in so many ways, and I was just like, "Come on, people! Can you not see what he is doing?" But it's all about going back, knowing who you are and whose you are.
Who you are, who you are. My God.
And I encourage everybody, because my life scripture, Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, lean out on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge me, and I will direct your path.
Amen.
And when my path gets hazy, when I feel lost, I know what the issue is. I'm leaning on my understanding.
You're trying to figure it out on your own.
When I'm starting to feel depressed and anxious, I'm leaning on my own understanding.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When I can't see my way and I'm trying to wipe the windows to see my way,
Mm-hmm.
I'm leaning on my own understanding. And so being the woman behind the brand is trusting God
Yeah.
and just going.
It's just going.
It's trusting God and just going.
Yep.
And when we stop going, we take a moment to say, what's going on? And then we say, okay, God, what we doing?
We doing.
And then we keep going
Yeah.
because we are our brands. Our testimony is our brand. Our life is our brand.
Yeah.
Ha! God is our brand. That
That's
is
it.
why when God, I say this, the woman behind the brand started on Clubhouse in fall of 2021. What year is it? 22, 21.
Mhm.
And I began to lean on my own understanding and I shut it down. But in March 2022, God said, bring it back for the second quarter. I said, okay, God, bring it back on Clubhouse. It was on Clubhouse for 3 months. Then he took it to KBC and TV, which is a it's an online media company. But he only told me, when he told me to bring it back, it was for 3 months. Now we are into season 2, and I don't know what God is doing. It ain't my business.
It ain't my business.
I don't want to know the details because if I
Yeah.
know the details, I don't have to trust him. Then I'm gonna try to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
But our brands, as we should make sure that every aspect of our brand reflects the CEO of the brand, and the
Mm-hmm.
CEO is not me.
Yeah.
I'm the COO, the Chief Operating Officer. He's the Chief Executive Officer. So because I know who I am and whose I am, I'm able to let him take the CEO seat,
Yeah.
and you tell me what to do, and I'm gonna do it.
That's so good.
So, Desiree, before we get up out of here, as as a as a woman, as an entrepreneur, and God is right now shifting. It's so funny. He's shifting you from what was your comfort zone into where the space where he has really called you.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to that woman who's experiencing the exact same thing? She's in exact same season you're in.
I would say the biggest thing is spend time, intentional time with the person that made you and created you, right? Because we don't there he's shifting us and moving us into things we don't understand. And like you said, we don't have to understand it, but we have to trust him and trust that he knows the plans. That's what he said. He said, I knew the plans before you was even knitted up and created, before your mom even daddy even got together. I already knew who you was.
He
And
knew.
so I just keep reminding myself, okay, Lord, so if you already knew who I was and you already knew the plan, well, I know your plans come with protection. I also understand that your plans come with the provision. So regardless of what it looks like, what I'm seeing, because remember you said we be trying to wipe away the foggy windows to see what's going on. Even though I can't see it right now, my faith knows that it's already laid out. That's all. That's all. That's really all I got. I just keep holding on and trusting and believing that it's already worked out. And in my personal prayer time, I literally just sit there. I pray, but then I just really allow the Lord to speak to me. He's in that time, he's, the Holy Spirit is giving me a whole freaking doggone like blueprint. Like it's massive, honestly, to be honest with you, more than what I could probably do. I know I can do in my own human strength, because I'm like, all right, Lord, so you're gonna have to come through with this, because this is whoa. So he's giving me the things, it's just trusting the process. So just allowing yourself to go through the process, and everybody's process is different. We want the microwave. We want to pop it in the microwave, put them on them 2 minutes and pop it out real quick. And for some people that may be how their process is, but for some of us, like, our process may take some time. And in that process, just appreciate it, because it's not in vain. Like, you're suffering, the heartache, the tears, the crying, the pain is not in vain. You know what I'm saying? He's preparing us, and he's giving us oil from where we need to go. So just stay in prayer. Like, literally, that's where I am. I'm trying to stay connected, because as soon as we allow ourselves to get disconnected, the enemy gonna come in quick, because he already knows. The enemy already know, right? So we just have to stay connected. Stay connected to God. Stay connected to the people that He's placing in our circles, to help us along the journey. Stay connected and just stay focused. Just stay focused, and it's gonna be good on the other end.
Wow. There you have it, people. It's such a joy sitting down and chatting with you today. And
Every minute of it.
um it's so much on the horizon. As we round out 2022,
Into
um
2023. Oh my gosh.
2023, 2023. Yeah. He just downloaded some real quick. We ain't got time for that. But thank you for just sitting down with me today. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to just chat with me and let everybody know who this amazing woman behind Desiree Danielle is. You will be seeing a lot more of her, especially as it relates to the Woman of Hope magazine and everything else, because my husband told me that she's the only person allowed to shoot my cover.
Thanks, husband.
I'm just saying that's what the man in the house said. But
Husband.
I'm honored that I get a front row seat to experience the evolution of you. And so everybody stay tuned. All of her information will be down below in the description. So all of her social media information, how to book her if you are an entrepreneur and you are ready, you're in the Birmingham area. Or if you're in Alabama, even if you out of state, put some gas in your car and
Honey,
come
listen,
on,
I
baby. And she travels,
mm,
and she travel. Okay, but all of her information will be in the description box below. And if you are tuning in, if you haven't subscribed to the Hope in Her channel, what are you waiting for? Be sure to subscribe, hit that button so that you'll be notified. Hit that button so you'll be notified every time we go a new episode goes live. So thank you for joining me again today, and catch us next week. Episode 3, we sit down with Diddy Miles of Relationship Reflections, and she's also the author of Peepers 1 and 2. Stay on the lookout. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope you are spending some time with your family and just taking a break from everything that we have going on, and just be thankful that you are here. Be thankful that God allowed you to see another Thanksgiving, because so many people don't. So just take some time and just reflect on everything that God has blessed you with, all the time that you still have, and just be thankful in general. So don't eat too much turkey. And like I said, get some rest. But thank you for tuning in. And like I said, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Season 1 is up, so make sure you go and binge watch season 1, and make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when a new episodes air. So thank you again, Desiree, for tuning in. And you know how I do. Give yourself grace because you won't always get it right. The grace that God gives us when we don't get it right. Until next week, beautiful people. Peace. This episode has been brought to you by Desiree Danielle Branding and Event Photography, where they capture authentic branding images for busy entrepreneurs and businesses that helps them connect with their ideal audience. Visit www.desireedanielle.com to schedule your branding consultation today. Don't forget to subscribe.